Georgia Rose from Zenkuda, and we are in the soul space tonight. So I hope you're out there joining me, because I kind of have no idea what I'm going to talk about tonight. Yeah, I really kind of do. Actually, just a little bit. I know I want to talk about self-care, because Mercury retrograde is kicking my butt, and I don't know if it's kicking yours too, but if it is, we'll talk about some ways to overcome that. So how are you this week, Sally, my beautiful engineer?
I'm doing well.
You are?
Doing really well. Thanks for asking.
That's good.
In retrograde and all.
Retrograde.
Retrograde. See, I can't even say retrograde
It's
because we're in
retrocraze.
retrograde.
We
If I
can,
had taken my time.
yeah, we can take it. We can make a new word, retrocraze. It's Mercury retrocraze. It's like I always tell people I have a new word. Whenever I meditate and I really get something that is all clear and I have clarity, I said, I under really stand. That's my favorite word. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about self-care and what that means. Because last week we talked about law of attraction. That was a great show. We had a lot of hits on that show.
Yeah, it was really good. I liked it.
Everybody wants to attract the law. Now they just want the law of attraction.
I also liked the week before with the women who did tarot card readings. I thought they were great.
Elaine and Lynn, they were wonderful. We're going to have a lot of new guests on March and April. I have so many people that we're booking, somebody who does essential oils. I have somebody who's going to come on to talk about Reiki. And I also have somebody who's going to come on and talk about the Schumann resonance. If any of you know what that is, it actually measures the vibration of the earth and how the earth is changing and the poles of the earth are changing. I read the other day that the North Pole actually moved over 600 miles since, I think, the 90s. So that's why they have to keep recalibrating GPS and stuff. So anyway, the reason why I picked self-care as a topic tonight was because Mercury has been retrograde in Pisces since the beginning of the month. And the phone lines are open, by the way, if anybody wants to call in. I think the number's on the screen. And for some reason, I keep hearing from a lot of my clients that this is really draining them and that the energy has been really tough with this particular Mercury retrograde. And there's other reasons for that too with other planets. But I wanted to talk about self-care tonight, and I actually had an incident happen to me in my own life with some friends that really kind of brought out some things for me. And what happened was I had been really working closely with a friend on some issues that they were having. They actually had a great loss, and we were very close. And so I was working on, really helping them through this. And then I had to kind of step away from my own self-care. And when I did that, I don't think they had a lot of compassion for me. And that's understandable because they were very deep in their own issues at the time. But what it led me to think about was the way that oftentimes in our friendships, in our family, in our relationships, people don't really honor us because we give so much to them. And then when it comes time for us to maybe take a step back and have to really practice self-care, we get a backlash. So I want to talk about that today, and if anybody has an experience with that, definitely call in, and maybe we can come up with some positive ways to overcome that. So why is self-care important? I'm actually going to just turn down my heater that's behind me because it's usually freezing in the studio, so I bring a little space heater, and I don't need it today. I think spring is coming. Let me see who this is. Got to put my headphones back on. Oh. Good evening. You're on the Soul Space with Georgia Rose.
Good morning, George. Hello, Georgie Rose. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you, DJ?
No, I'm doing good. I'm not bad. Just chilling.
So how's your energy level? Are you doing jobs out there, or are you tired and laying on the couch?
Nah, I found another job maybe. I'm hoping that they call me tomorrow.
Oh, very good. So now what kind of DJ jobs do you look for?
I'm looking for, anybody who wants to, anybody needs a party, whatever.
Okay. Do you do kid parties or just adults?
No, it could be adults. It could be kids. I don't mind.
Okay. Well, you get one question tonight. What's your one question?
I got one question for you. I just want to make sure I'm not going to make money in the next week.
Next week? Well, do you have jobs lined up?
Yes.
Oh, so then you're going to make money.
I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, it sounds like you are. I think what you should do is when you're at those jobs, try and get other ones in the same place.
Yep.
So you can't call the show in anymore.
That's a nice.
Until you make money.
Until you make money.
That's a nice.
I'm only kidding you.
Thank you. You're so sweet there, Rosie.
All right, I'll give you another question just for that one.
Thank you. I just want to know that me and my husband can live together.
Do you live together already? Because I know you had called in a couple months ago about that.
No, we don't live together, no.
Yeah. I think I told you a couple months ago, I feel like you guys are going to move in together towards the end of the year.
I want to make sure that we're going to live together.
Yeah, you are
In the
going to live
future.
together, but I think it's going to be like before Christmas time.
Oh, that's good. That's a good idea.
Yeah. So start saving some of that DJ money to buy him a nice gift.
Oh, I'm going to. Sorry, I'm going to see him next month. I'll see him next month, next Saturday, actually. And I'm buying him. We're going to see a movie together.
Oh, very nice. Good. So then when you call on
Yeah.
the show next Thursday, you can tell us all about it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I would definitely tell you all about it too.
Okay, I got work to do, so I'm going to go back to the show now, okay?
Oh, do you know what the magic word is today?
What's the magic word?
Booyah!
That was the magic word last week.
And it's still the magic word too.
Okay. Well, have a good night, DJ.
Thanks, Dennis.
See you later, guys.
Bye. He calls into every show, Sal.
Yep.
I'm a little concerned.
Yeah.
If anybody knows him personally, call us and let us know what the deal is there. All right. So we're talking about self-care. So why is self-care important? Well, a couple of reasons. First of all, I was watching Oprah today, actually. I haven't watched Oprah probably in 10 years.
Yeah. How are you watching Oprah?
I
Is she
think
on? Or
YouTube.
like
She has like this whole state. She has her own like empire. I don't know.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah. She like what you can watch Oprah on any medium that has a airwave.
Yeah, when my kids were little, I watched her like all the time. I thought she was great.
Yeah, I actually have a letter in my wallet that I carry around for the last 20-something years that probably 25 years now I have this letter in my wallet that I wrote after watching an Oprah show to myself. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Which
And
show?
It was a show about limiting belief systems and following your dreams. And I wrote a letter to myself about what I wanted to do in my life, and then I went out and did it. And I carry that letter in my wallet to this day.
That's cool.
Yeah, so Oprah's my hero. But anyway, I was listening to her today, and she was talking about how there's nothing that we don't give that we don't already have. And what she meant by that was, it was actually one of her commencement addresses I was watching. And she was talking about the fact that we have to keep our cup full and our cup running over in order to be able to give to anyone else. So that's why self-care is so important. If we don't do it, then we really don't have anything to give to our family and friends. So I have a couple of notes, and there's actually 5 types of self-care. And I was thinking about this quite a bit today because of the incident that happened to me and having to pull away and practice self-care because I was getting drained. And first type of self-care is physical. And when you think about physical self-care, that's about sleeping, eating. Hi, Joanne. Hi, Denise. And keeping yourself balanced. Now, one of the things that I do, I always talk from personal experience on this show. It's never, that was my phone, but they're supposed to call on the other number.
Yeah, the number's on the screen. 516-465-3990.
Mercury is so darn retro. So I've had glitches all week. I can't even tell you. So anyway, one of the things that I do, and I always talk about myself on this show from a personal experience because in the regard of helping you and helping others. And I love it when you guys call in and give me your tips because that helps me. So that's what Zenkuda is about, is helping each other. So first of all, physical. One of the things that I do is I make sure I get a certain amount of sleep all the time, except if I'm obviously out at a important social occasion or something. But then I'll try and sleep an extra hour in the morning or something like that. Religiously, 7 hours. I find 8 hours is too much and 6 hours isn't enough. So I literally set an alarm. Even if I go to bed early, I will not let myself sleep more than 7 hours. And the reason I do that is because that balances. We don't realize how much sleep affects our daily waking life. So if you're having trouble sleeping, you really need to find a routine that works for you because that energetic repose, that rejuvenation is so important to your daily living. So first step in self-care is sleep. And then, of course, eating. What you eat, does it fuel your life? I had terrible diet habits years ago, and I was very overweight at one time in my life. And I completely changed when I actually had a health crisis. But what I realized was I eat a certain way, and a lot of people, I'm very strict and disciplined in my eating. And many people will ask me, well, how do you do that? And it's really not that much effort for me because I eat based on the way that I feel. So I know if I eat something crappy that's going to make me feel crappy, I just don't eat it because I can't get through my day. So I eat a certain way. For me, high protein works really well. And I do that because it helps me get through my day and get through my life in a way that I'm not putting stress on my body. So if your diet is putting stress on your body, really time to change it because it's just going to get worse. And that basically on the first step of self-care, the physical and the sleeping part is you want to be in control of those two things. That's the foundation of everything healthy in your life is that sleeping and eating. You've got to balance that. Make sure you're not getting too much sleep, that you're getting enough sleep, and the same with food. You don't overeat, you don't undereat. I see so many people do diets that are just unhealthy diets. People are really make carbs like a dirty word now. And I will tell you, you're supposed to eat 2 carbs a day. So I'm not a nutritionist, but ask any nutritionist. It's a certain type of carbs that you
A
eat.
carb could be an apple, you know?
Yeah, milk is a carb. So basically, you have to get into the idea of you're eating for nutritional value. And that's how I eat. Like a lot of times I'll put tomato on something because I'm like, oh, I need to eat that particular vitamin or, something. And that's how my body's trained. Second thing is social, taking care of ourselves in a social way. I think many times when we're really stressed and pressed for time and we can't fit everything into our day, the first thing to go is our relationships and our friendships. And we don't go out, we don't have the lunch, we don't go out for the cocktail, we don't go out to meet someone for a movie or just to hang out or invite someone over because we're so stressed and we're so depleted. And studies show that those connections that we have in life are really, really important. So important that they actually release endorphins just like we do when we exercise. So you have to make social self-care part of your stress relief. If you're hibernating and isolating, that's adding to your stress, actually. You may think it's not because you want peace and quiet, but it's actually the interaction with each other that actually, fuels our life and gives us the energy to go on and connect. They did studies in hospitals of babies who weren't held when they were born, and it's failure to thrive. They actually found that without human contact, we fail to thrive and we have more stress in our life. So you got to get out there and take some social action. And the same thing with altruistic things. If you volunteer, donate your time to helping others, it also is a big stress reliever. So the phone lines are open. If anybody wants to call, I'm going to pull cards for them tonight. So I know that usually gets you guys calling in. I got Rain out there, Robert, Sally, Suzanne. Hi, Suzanne. She has a place in my heart. Denise. Hi, Denise. Joanne. Kathy, I owe you a phone call. See, I'm not practicing what I preached tonight, but I love you, girl. So if anybody has any questions that they want to ask, call into the show. Or Marianne, how are you? If you call in, Marianne, I'll pick a couple cards for you. And ask for a card read. I'll pull 3 cards for anybody who calls in tonight. So we have physical and social, and the next part of self-care is mental. And I think this is where a lot of us really don't understand. And we'll sit in front of the TV and watch a completely mindless show just to kind of go numb. But that sometimes is not the stress reliever you think it is. When I did research for tonight's broadcast, I actually learned that mental activity that occupies your mind with something that you really enjoy but makes your mind occupied is actually more of a stress reliever than going numb. What the article was saying was that when we actually engage in a mental activity that we love, like maybe you love to read, that's great stress reliever, or puzzles and things like that, that not only does it relieve stress, but it actually gives us more mental acuity so that when we have stress in our life, we're better able to deal with it. And they were saying how when you go numb in front of the TV or with artificial stimulants, that you're actually giving yourself more stress because you're training your body not to be able to handle stressful situations. So I thought that was really interesting. So and the other thing I thought about with the mental aspect of self-care is how do we talk to ourselves? I think a lot of us are very judgmental in our own speech with ourselves. You talk to yourself, you hard on yourself, or you criticize yourself. And if there's anything I hope everybody takes away from this show tonight, it's really getting to a place where you can speak nicely and kindly to yourself, because you're a beautiful miracle of God and you should be doing that. And then the fourth category of self-care out of the 5 is spiritual. And spiritual self-care is something that I think many of us neglect. I find that we live basically in a soulless society right now, and for the most part anyway. And so neglecting the spiritual of us has almost become, second nature. Good evening. You're on Soul Space with Georgia Rose.
Hey, Georgia, it's Suzanne.
Hey, Suzanne. How are you? I haven't seen you in a long time.
I know, and you always have a special place in your heart for me.
I do, because people who follow me know Suzanne was actually the first time I ever had a spirit speak to me from the other side. It was her sister, and I always tell that story. And so Suzanne always connects with me because I got to say that was an amazing night that I'll never forget. So
it was, and it was so long for us to get to the message. You remember?
I know it was. I didn't want to say it. I was like, "No, I'm crazy.
She kept
This
knocking
can't be
on
happening."
your door.
Yeah. It was pretty amazing. And then her sister started talking to me again a couple months later, and I had to call her up. And I'm like, "You don't really know me, but your dead sister's talking to me." It was really weird. But now that happens every day. So
all good stuff.
So how are you doing? What can I do for you tonight? You want me to pull a couple of cards?
I do, actually. I need some good energy sent my way.
Okay.
My dad had recently passed, and I'm getting a lot of stuff going on. So I'm curious what my cards have to say.
I feel like you're moving. Are you moving or planning a move, or there's a possibility for a move for you?
I would love to, Georgia, but I just don't know where I'm going yet.
Oh, okay. Because my cards went all over the table. I definitely feel like there's a move, or definitely a physical move, but I don't feel like you're moving far. Wherever you're living now, I feel like you're staying in the area, but you're moving into a different physical space. So, if that helps, I don't know.
I'm absolutely feeling it, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let's see what the cards are going to say for us. We're going to pull 3 cards, Susan. Okay, you're really worried about this, I feel like. Really overly so. Like, you got to get out of your head a little bit. Okay. You're going to have a couple of options, but what the cards are showing me is that you have to bring your energy down a little bit. It's really interesting that this is a show about self-care, but I've got this card usually, exactly what it looks like it is. Usually, means sleepless nights kind of thing, and you're extra worried about something. The Nine of Swords is usually a card that shows us that we have stress in our life, and oftentimes when I see that card, for me, it always means we're overly stressing over something that's probably going to come out okay. So it's almost, yeah, exactly. So it's don't lose sleep over it is really kind of what this card says. And since I'm looking at it this way, it's also upside down, which really amplifies that message for me. It also means that this time is going to pass very quickly. So whatever you've been going through, and I think it's been a little bit of time, the time is almost ending for this particular situation. The next card I have is the World card. And in tarot, we call those type of cards, these cards, the major arcana. And major arcana cards are usually cards that show us a major change or a significator in someone's life that's a big deal. And I truly believe that this particular thing that's happening with you right now, this situation, your dad's passing, you feel a little uprooted, you're not grounded, you have a great sense of groundlessness. The deeper meaning of this situation for you, Susan, is to keep in faith. I feel like this is a test of faith for you, and it's almost like you've been tossed around so much, you're losing faith. And you need to make sure you keep that faith strong, because the world really does have your back. The universe is pushing you into the place you're going to be. It may be uncomfortable, but the reason for that is because that discomfort is the signaling of what you need to work on in your life. So make sure you keep your faith, do your spiritual rituals, do prayer, go into your meditations, all of those things. And also what I just got psychically was cleansing. If you have been indulging too much in things that aren't really the best habits, definitely do a detox, a cleanse. Get yourself a little bit more physically balanced. They're
Absolutely.
definitely showing me that. So don't go into old habits. Definitely bring back that beautiful faith that you have, rejuvenate, replenish. This is a huge time in the world for purification because of where the planets are right now. And that's bringing out a lot of old things to be purified. So that's what some of this is about. Don't fall into the old patterns of not having faith. You have to keep your faith. Because the third card that I have here is the Page of Cups. And cups, pages rather, are usually messages. It's things happening. And if you look at this card, I'm going to turn it right side for the camera. If you look at this card, it has the Page of Cups with a cup and actually a fish in it for showing plentifulness. And it's almost like the cup is runneth over. So this actually shows that your choices are going to be plentiful and that there are things coming that are really going to be great for you. So there are choices coming, there are things coming, but you're going to attract that in your life by keeping the faith and keeping positive.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So hang in there. Don't let it get to you. Keep really keep your thoughts pure, your energy high, and stay in law of attraction, what you want, because your thoughts are really powerful right now.
Ooh. George, you always make me smile.
Oh, good. I'm glad. And thank you for calling in.
Thank you. Anytime.
Okay.
Love your show.
I love you too. Bye, sweetie. Just check and see who else is watching. Deborah, how are you? Gina's watching. And Aaron. I love my Aaron. Aaron's from Texas. He's one of my social media friends, and we always message back and forth. He's got some really great stuff going on in his life. So the fourth one was the spiritual self-care. And it's funny that Suzanne called in right then, because the message that she got in her cards was really very appropriate for that spiritual portion of the self-care. You got to keep your thoughts positive. And I know it's really hard because there's a lot of purification going on in the world. And by purification, I mean things are coming to a head that have been very long-term situations for people. But that's okay, because there's a new day coming. So keep your thoughts on the positive, not on the stuff you got to get rid of, but on what's coming next when you have beautiful space made after those things go away. Never has it been more critical for us to keep our vibe up and our positive thoughts, let me tell you. And then, of course, the fifth part of self-care is the emotional. And emotional self-care is a lot different than the other four. Emotional self-care is actually allowing yourself to have your emotion. And I've done a lot of videos and a lot of broadcasts on my YouTube channel about letting your emotions be squashed. And we're going to get back to that. Good evening. You're on Soul Space with Georgia Rose.
Hi, Georgia Rose. It's Rain Ryan. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. I was wondering if you could pull some cards for me, because this topic today is absolutely keying into a lot of the physical and self-care. I have a lot of issues going on with long-term pain and health.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I'm actually a light worker as well, and just was wondering, in any directions that could maybe help so I could become stronger,
I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
So I know you said you're a light worker. So
yes,
obviously you give a lot to others.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
Do you also allow yourself to partake of those kind of modalities?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. Because I know that's also an issue.
I have one special teacher that I see every 6 weeks, and then I also partake in it whenever I can as well.
That's wonderful. Because I know one of the issues that we have oftentimes as light workers and people who do Reiki and readings and spirit communication for people is that we don't allow ourselves to replenish and get the Reiki treatment.
That's why I thought your topic today was so amazing.
Yeah, and oftentimes that's a big deal for us, because I actually had an issue with that in my life where I give so much love out to the world and I never allowed myself to receive. And so,
It's like the hairstylist that has the crap hair.
Yeah, right. The shoemaker has no shoes, right? So, and I think I think that's a problem with a lot of light workers and a lot of people with modalities like that, because we go into that calling thinking only of the other. And so then we don't get the benefit of it, So actually, a week ago, Sunday, I had one of my very great teachers come in and give me Reiki for a long time. It was quite a day. And it was one of the most beautiful things I had done in a long time for myself. So I'm glad you brought that up. So I'm going to pick 3 cards for you, Lorraine. And just take that with you, because I feel like there may be some issue there with you as well with letting yourself receive. Okay?
Okay.
And that's just, came to me. Okay. So the first card that we pulled is the 4 of Cups. And the 4 of Cups means that you're going to have a lot of choices in your life. And I feel like this is about choice for you in a deeper sense. You know, I always have the mantra, you guys who tune in a lot probably have always heard me say, every choice creates more of us. Every choice creates more of you. And, you know, we make choices all day long about everything from should I have a cup of coffee to not to the big stuff, right? And
Yes.
I feel like watch your choices, because I feel like when it comes to self-care, sometimes your choices are not made from conscious thought. They're made more from reactionary. Like really give yourself the chance to decide and make decisions instead of just reacting because that's what you're used to. Do you understand?
Like having no choice.
Huh?
It's not having like waiting or being in the situation and not having any other choice but what is laid out in front of you, kind of thing.
Because we always have a choice, and I
Right.
think sometimes when we rush into something, we think we don't, and usually those choices are made out of a sense of vulnerability. And one of the things for those of you who follow me because of the business coaching. One of the things one of my business mentors years ago told me, and it was the most significant advice I ever got in my life, and I still adhere to it to this day, and I really believe it was one of the pillars that made me successful in business. He said to me, don't ever respond or make a decision out of a place of vulnerability. And when he said that to me, what it did was it changed my life, because it made me put a rule in place. Like I never decide things. I usually wait 24 hours on the big stuff. You know, if I go car shopping or if I'm, you know, deciding whether to do something, I don't give an answer right away. And even though sometimes that's frustrating for others, it's just too darn bad because that's how I practice self-care. So,
boundary.
Yeah. So I think sometimes you impulsively answer and do things, and I don't think you take yourself into consideration. You think too much of the other. And and that gets into the question for you that's coming out from this reading for me, and this is the question to take with you tonight is, are you including yourself in your life? Because I think sometimes you're not. So make sure you are including yourself in your life.
Sense.
Yeah, I'm glad.
And 4 is one of my strong power numbers.
What is your power number?
One of my strong power numbers. When I became a Reiki teacher, 4 was the number. Like 9 used to be a very strong number for me, and then all of a sudden it shifted to 4, kind of like, you know, bringing in the elements. Yeah. So it was just funny that
the 4 directions. I work in the 4 directions a lot.
Yeah, they didn't coming up.
And 4 is a very angelic number too. So that was the first card that came up. Now the King of Cups in reverse came up also. So that's telling me there's a Capricorn. I mean, I'm sorry, not Capricorn. There's a water sign male energy around you. That could be a Pisces. It could be even a Scorpio, actually.
My father is a Scorpio.
Okay.
My sister's a Pisces.
Oh, okay. So I think this is dad. So I'll bet you a lot of your habits that we're talking about came from childhood and the way that you were raised and the conditioning that you had. I'll bet your dad was the type of guy that you didn't make a choice unless it was his choice.
What's the last water sign? Cancer?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's definitely where this is all coming from. So when you start thinking about self-care, think about how you've been conditioned to not put yourself first, and how you were raised in an environment where someone else was always going to be the person who went first.
Mm-hmm.
And now you've got to decondition yourself.
About those kind of things in my family now, and layers are coming, you know, falling away, but then some of them are very difficult and tend to get stuck.
Yeah. Well, that's what Reiki's for, right?
Yes. Yeah. That's why I think I've been led on this journey.
Yeah, it sounds like. So I picked that energy up right away. And now the last card is in reverse as well, and that's the Magician. And for me, the Magician card comes up quite often in readings. I seem to just attract it. But for you, if you look at the Magician card, Lorraine, it's got the infinity symbol above the head. And this is Spirit coming in this evening to tell you that you are definitely, I'm just trying to put this the right way. You are definitely able to have infinite possibility. You are definitely capable of creating the deconditioning and strengthening the areas of choice and self-care that you need. You know, it's hard for us when we're conditioned as children from a very young age, before our brains are even formed, to appease someone else, to give in to someone else, to think we're not as worthy as the other. And we carry that with us our whole lives in very insidious ways. So that's what I'm getting out of this reading, but you have the power to change it. The beautiful magician is actually the sign that anything is possible. You have the ability to do anything in your life if you set your mind to it. Very strong will. So just know that that is absolutely the end outcome of this if you put your mind to it. And I'm also going to tell you that I feel like that is an indicator of the physical pain you're in. I think you're holding energy, and that's probably aggravating whatever it is. The physical pain that you have, is it lower back or legs?
Yes.
Yeah.
It can be all over, but right now, at this moment, it's concentrated there.
Yes, what I felt. That is absolutely indicative of everything that we're talking about, because when we have people who restrict us in our life, it gives us pain there because we don't move forward.
Yes.
And that's symbolic of that. So,
I've been trying to work on that a lot because of working with Reiki and, wanting to have, I always try to teach having the confidence of, your inner self and your inner guidance.
Absolutely.
And, pulling away those layers tend to also make you doubt as you go through them and those experiences, emotions again.
Of course.
Doubt, am I going in the right direction? Am I doing the right thing? If I feel this way, how can I be more for others in doing my work as well?
Right.
So, it tends to give you a conflict sometimes.
It does.
I feel I've been in that kind of little bit of a mushy kind of.
Yeah, and you get conflicted because you're processing energy that is been ingrained in you to make you conflicted. Because, no judgment of whoever raises us. Our parents have their ways, we have our ways, whatever. No judgment. But if you think about it just on an observation viewpoint, a person who is putting themselves above others, making your choices not as important, restricting you in ways, even though they're not aware of it, that's a manipulation.
Yes.
So what is the purpose of manipulation? To make you feel weak and confused. And that's why you're going through that now while you're working with the energy.
Right.
So it comes out.
I've been kind of, shook a little bit by it.
And you will be. Let it flow through you. Let it process. And remember that you're more powerful than any of it. And that you have the power to overcome it. The other thing I was going to say that's very important, and I'm going to wrap it up with this, is I definitely think it's important for you as you're processing the energy to allow yourself to have the emotion that you have. Don't restrain it further.
Okay.
Because the more you let it flow through you, it's going to release the physical pain that you have.
Oh, I really hope that.
I know it will be. You have to believe it, though. You have to believe it.
Okay.
All right?
Believe.
So don't be so hard on yourself, I think you're actually doing a very brave and heroic job at processing whatever you need to process. It sounds like you're really, really coming through this with unbelievable wisdom and compassion.
Yeah, I've been trying really hard to break away and move away, especially because I feel like, there's got to be other people like myself that are out that have gone through these things that, maybe get there a little bit and then turn away. I'm trying to get over to the other side to see, to be not so much an example, but if people come to me with the same kind of things that they need help with, to feel like, you can get through this too.
I think you are an example, and I think that your dialogue here over the airwaves tonight is a beautiful, beautiful example, and you are a living example, and you should definitely, make sure that you honor yourself for that.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart.
And just remember, Lorraine, when we feel confused, it's actually a good thing, because confusion means something's about to change.
The shift.
Right?
Yes. Well, I do listen to you whenever I can, and you're always a beautiful, lovely soul.
Oh, thank you.
I really wanted to thank you for taking the time.
I hope I get to meet you one day.
Yes, I hope so too. I will try to come and maybe get to see you in person. I would
yes,
really
I'm
like
planning some events, so we'll talk.
Oh, wonderful.
Have a great night.
Keep listening. You have a beautiful show.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bless you. Bye.
What a beautiful soul. So one of the people on Facebook said that they'd love to call in, but they're watching on their cell phone, so they can't call in.
Oh, that's funny.
That is funny. We're in the mobile age.
Hey, I wanted to interrupt for a second because we're doing a Teespring ad with where people can buy.
Oh yeah,
kind of swag for like people could buy your T-shirt or mug or something like that.
If you want to buy some govsradio.com,
it only takes 30 seconds. So I'm just going to do that.
We have a
second.
commercial.
Oh, well, I do this whenever I can, and you're always a beautiful, lovely soul. Thank you. I really wanted to thank you for this.
Hey, everyone.
Hi, everyone. We're on the Zenkuda Soul Space, and I have a caller. Hello?
Hi.
Hi. I just need you to turn your device down, whatever you're listening to us on, because I can hear you in the background.
Okay. I did.
Oh, good. We have Deborah Casella, Michael Zinn watching. So, good evening. Welcome to the Soul Space. And who's this?
Marianne.
Hi, Marianne. How are you tonight?
Okay.
You sound like you're very depleted, having problems with tiredness from the Mercury retrograde, maybe.
Yeah.
So, do you want me to? Yeah.
The other night, I asked you about anything about my husband.
Yes.
It's going to be 2 years.
I'm going to pull a couple of cards. And what was your husband's first name, Marianne?
Ralph.
Okay. So we're going to see if Ralph will come through tonight. I definitely feel like he's around you, very much so, especially in your bedroom area. I feel like he watches over you as you sleep at night.
Mm.
Was his death very sudden, Marianne?
No.
Because
he was fine. I mean, he had cancer for almost 3 years.
Yeah.
But within 6 weeks, almost 2 months,
yeah,
he was gone.
Because I feel like it was unexpected. I feel like this happened. You really weren't prepared for it.
No. He was doing fine.
Yeah.
Then
okay.
The world fell down.
I just shuffled these cards, and I got the same exact cards of the first reading. I'm going to reshuffle. And if the same cards come out again, then we know. It's really warm in here, Sal. She's up, so I'm going to eat. They fixed the heat. Okay, so Marianne, I'm going to pick 3 cards for Ralph.
Okay.
And if everyone out there who's watching could just send us some energy. I'm reading the news feed. Okay, Ralph, what do you have to say to Marianne tonight? Okay. They're the same cards. You guys saw me shuffle, and the same cards are coming out.
Yeah.
Okay. They're meant to be. So, first of all, Marianne, the first card that came out is, again, the Page of Cups. He seems to be very popular tonight. And the Page of Cups, I'm going to turn it around so everyone on camera can see. The Page of Cups is communication. And when I was shuffling the cards, I felt very strongly that Ralph comes to you in the evening at night. If you're sleeping, I don't know if you've been dreaming of him. If not, it's because you're blocking it. Because what I'm getting is that there is communication there, but that you may be blocking. So before you go to sleep at night, try and relax yourself. I feel like you're very tense, and that it gets worse at night, like you're very stressed in the evening before bed. So what I would say to you is, if you can find some kind of a routine or ritual that will help you relax before sleep, you're going to find comfort in him. You're going to feel him when you're sleeping. You're going to feel his presence as far as, you know, the love and comfort that he would give to you if he was here. So that's the first thing. You definitely have him around you, and you will be able to feel him. You just have to open to it. The other thing is that the second card that I chose was the card of judgment. And many times when people see this card, they think that it is a card of judgment, but it's not. The judgment card actually is rebirth. If you look at the card, I don't know if Sally can put the camera on the table. If you look at the card, it actually has almost a grave of people coming out, like rebirthing. And the trumpet, of course, this is Archangel Gabriel. And Archangel Gabriel in this card is symbolic of a new beginning, of clear messages. Archangel Gabriel was the angel who came to the Blessed Mother and told her that she was going to have baby Jesus. So it's another card of communication. And then we have the World card, which the World card to me, I know it means something different to other readers, but the World card to me is symbolic of having faith, of believing in the world, believing that the world and the universe is much more kind and loving than even we realize, and having the faith that we are actually watched over, and that spirit, God, whatever you believe in, is actually performing the best for us at all times. So if I take these 3 cards together, what they're symbolic for me, Marianne, is that there's a lot of comfort in the world. There's a lot of comfort from the other side for you, deep abiding love from your husband, but I don't think you're allowing yourself to feel it because you're very overwhelmed with the grief. And so if you can find a way to alleviate that grief just for a little bit of time and open, I think you're going to find a lot of comfort in the fact that Ralph's presence is eternal and his love is limitless. Just because he's not here on earth doesn't mean you won't feel that.
It's going to be 2 years, March 3rd.
Yeah, yeah. I also feel for some reason that there's things that Ralph used to do around the house. I don't know if he gardened or worked outside a lot or something. I'm getting a lot of things around the outside of the house. And I feel like there are things that have just been kind of left, by the wayside, and no one is doing them now, whether that's the garden or other things. And I feel like he really wants them to be maintained. He wants them to be taken care of in his honor, almost. So was there something outside of the house that he took a lot of pride in?
He had a garden.
Yeah.
I did it the first year, but last year I put them in pots instead of a garden.
He loves that. He loves to feel that essence of something growing. And I think there's a message there also symbolically for us, because this middle card, the Judgment card, is rebirth. And I think it's really important this year for you to do that garden. I think it's going to give you a lot of comfort. And I think it's going to also be very symbolic of you understanding the evolution of life and how, things die and transform and become new again. Very important to find a way to keep Ralph's spirit alive in a joyful way, and not go into too much of the heaviness.
Okay.
All right? And I think that will bring you comfort, and really it's important for you to have something to really be occupied in that he loved.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right.
Have a good night.
Okay, bye.
I think sometimes when, we lose someone, it's so hard to let go of the memory in a certain way. Sometimes we want to hold on to the grief because we feel that is keeping them with us, and it really is not the way to go. Good evening. You're on the Zenkuda Soul Space with Georgia Rose.
Oh, hi.
Hi. I just need you to turn down whatever device you're listening to us on, because I can hear in the background.
Wait 1 second. Give you a lot of comfort. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Who's the real drunk housewives of Australia?
I know. That's funny, right?
So how are you? My name is Georgia Rose. Can I help you?
Oh, I didn't actually realize it was you. I'm watching your show right now.
Yeah, there's a minute delay when you watch, so you're probably talking and you don't hear yourself yet.
Oh, got you. Okay, no problem.
So what's your name?
Carrie.
Carrie with a K?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So what can we do for you tonight? We'll pick a couple of cards for you, Terry. What's going on?
Nothing. I just kind of wanted to see, if you get what you get for me, or like if you get any information about maybe what some of my next moves should be.
Okay. Are you also a light worker? I feel a lot of real light energy around you.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't actually work. Like I'm
you
new.
Dabble.
I'm still waking up, I guess.
You're woke. You are woke, girl.
Oh, I feel so good that you're saying that. Thank you.
I got to tell you, just through the airwaves, I feel like you're just light and twinkly. Do you work in a lot of angelic energy, and do you ever work with fairies and elementals?
Definitely angelic energy. Fairies, I just kind of started to explore a little bit. I don't know that much about them.
I think you're going to love that. I feel like your energy through the airwaves is making me feel like fairies, elementals. I feel like you will be able to go out in the yard at dusk and see sparkly stuff in the lawn.
Oh, that would be so cool.
Yeah, I just feel like that. I feel like, even tree sprite energy. Really cool stuff. So
okay, thank you.
Do you love trees? You go out and hug trees? Are you in the forest a lot?
I'm not. I'm not. I need to go outside more for sure.
Yeah. When is your birthday?
October. I'm a Libra.
Oh, good. Us Libras have a club going, you know. All my friends are Libras. We have a Libra club.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, all the girls I hang out with that I socialize with were like all Libras, you know, which lends itself to a lot of airiness when we go out, I have to say. So.
Yeah, but that is fun sometimes when you're in the mood for it.
Yeah,
and totally, I mean, we just want to get along.
Self-care through socialization, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to pick 3 cards for you, Carrie. I cannot believe this. I shuffled and shuffled and shuffled these cards. The same card came out. What is it with the Page of Cups tonight? I'm shuffling these again.
You're
and if the
just going to get it again.
If he, I know, it's crazy, right? And if it weren't on camera, you'd think I was making it up, but it's really happening. I'm shuffling. Look, guys, I'm shuffling.
There might be like a similar message for us, like
communication.
You know?
That beautiful cup runneth over, and we were talking about the cup runneth over today. Okay. Oh, we got different cards. All right. So, Carrie, we got a lot of wands in this reading. Okay, so first of all, Carrie, I feel like one of the things that led you to spirituality was you used to take things too seriously, like burdens, you know, carrying other people's weight and really not letting yourself just be an observer instead of going into the energy. So if you're going to do light work, you really have to make sure that you know that boundary and you're not taking on a lot of energy, that you're able to, you know, leave it there, you know, and be able to counsel someone or help someone without taking on their life. I call that jumping in the boat with them. You don't need to jump in somebody's boat. You can watch them in their boat. You know, hey, how you doing in your boat? I don't need to get in it. All right?
Right. Most boaters just wave. You're right. I would jump in and start paddling.
Yeah. No, you don't need to jump in the boat. Just they have their own boat. You have your boat. Okay? So I think that the light work that you're doing is really great. And I love that you're pursuing things and going into wisdom. I feel like you're definitely reading a lot about philosophies and different modalities. You're taking a taste of a lot of things, a different buffet, you know, the buffet of spirituality. And I think that's good. I think you're going to definitely find a few things that resonate with you, but be careful of taking on other people's burdens.
Okay.
There's also a personal situation going on in your life. I feel like there's someone in your life who really is not only not supportive of your spiritual work, but also sometimes can be a little bit mocking of it.
I think, yeah. I mean, probably more than one person.
Okay.
I just try to tune it out. Really, though, they don't have to get it.
Okay. Because what I was going to say is this one person is like one of the major people in your life, and they just don't understand, like you said. So it's good that you realize that. But I feel like you're going to have a little bit of a confrontation with that person. Nothing too terrible, but I feel like it's going to come out and it's actually going to settle things for you, where you are going to become even more really strong in your decision to pursue this even more, you know. And I feel like that either the conversation, the dialogue, or the confrontation that you have with this person is actually going to strengthen your resolve to be who you are. So it's a good thing. So sometimes someone can be our teacher in a not positive way. The situation may seem like negative, but it's actually a positive outcome because they truly are our teacher. And not all teachers teach us in a beautiful, kind, loving way, right?
Right.
We learn through all kinds of things. We learn through wisdom and we learn through pain. So I think this person's going to push your buttons a little bit, and then the outcome's going to be that you strengthen your resolve to really pursue your spiritual path. And then the third card is confirmation for me on that, because I have this beautiful Pentacles, and if you look at the Nine of Pentacles, it's this beautiful, Virgin-esque Empress kind of person, and she's got pentacles all around her, which is really, abundance. And it can be material abundance. It can mean that you, whatever modality you choose to pursue, you will, maybe have a small business with that. But I also think it can be very much spiritual abundance. If you notice, she has a bird in her hand here. And the Nine of Pentacles is very much a card of abundance. It's a card of feminine. Sorry, I had to sneeze. It's a card of feminine prowess and feminine power. It is a card that really makes us understand the power of the feminine, the divine feminine. So
that's 100% where I am right now. That's so funny.
So that's the confirmation for me of the reading. And if you play the video back, when I went to the third card, I said, I have confirmation here. That's the confirmation. because here we have someone who was conditioned with the Ten of Wands, shows someone who's conditioned to carry other people's burdens, has a final confrontation or a significant confrontation with someone, conflict with someone that brings this to the surface and causes a change in you. And then you step in the power of the divine feminine. So this is really about feeling your power. I also am getting a visual of the fleur-de-lis in my mind, which is a very significant symbolization for me. It has been throughout my whole life. I honor the fleur-de-lis quite a bit. If you ever look at the fleur-de-lis, if you know what that is, it's a French symbol. It's like a trefoil.
Yes.
Yeah. If you study the symbolism of the fleur-de-lis, historically it's supposed to be symbolic of God and the Trinity, Father, Son, and Spirit. But when you look at the fleur-de-lis, there is a band around the bottom. And the symbolism of that band is that that's supposed to be the Blessed Mother or the Divine Feminine, without which the Trinity could not exist. So,
wow, I just felt that in my heart.
Yeah, and they were telling me to tell you that. So that's very significant for you. So know your power, because you are definitely someone that is very powerful in that divine feminine. And we all have feminine and masculine, but for some reason I feel like your healing and your power lies in that root for you. So I would 100%. Definitely pursue that. Yeah. So,
wow.
Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed that reading.
I really did. Thank you, Georgia.
You're welcome. And I don't know if we're friends on Facebook and stuff, but please like me, and I hope we stay in touch.
Okay, thanks. Have a good night.
Good luck on your journey.
You too.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye. So I'm going to say hi to some people. I got John Minetta out there. Joanne, the Real Drunk Housewives of Australia are watching. They're turning
she would
spiritual.
like to call in.
Oh, so let her. I'd love to hear her call in. Marianne, we saw Sally. I know you're here. Rain Ryan. Who else do I have out here? Michael Zinn. I've got Michelle Wagner. I'm just saying hi to everybody. It's like the old days on Romper Room. I'm dating myself. I really only knew it in reruns. I didn't know it when I was a child. Okay, so if anybody else wants a card pull. So the show went really fast tonight. So I'm just going to leave you guys with this about self-care, okay? A lot of times we think self-care is, I'm going to go treat myself to an ice cream cone. And that could be. But self-care is actually taking care of your well-being through restorative activity. How do you like that? Good evening. Wow. We have time for one last call. This is Georgia Rose on Zenkuda Soul Space. And who are you?
Joanne.
Hi, Joanne. How are you?
Hi. Good. How are you?
I'm good. I have 5 minutes left to do your cards. You want me to pull some for you?
Yes, please.
So what's going on with you?
I've been stressed. I was robbed. Someone used my account and took money out.
Oh, no.
Yep.
That happened to me a couple of months ago.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, that cyber theft is the thing now. They don't rob banks anymore. They just take your identity.
Yep.
So I just need you to turn down whatever device you're listening to us on, Joanne, because that's a reverb for me in my ear.
Okay.
Okay. Hopefully the the Four of Cups is not going to come up in this reading. I'm going to be dreaming about the Four of Cups tonight.
Yep.
Okay, so. Okay, we got the wands, 8 of wands. All of a sudden the wands are coming up, and wands mean action, so the energy must have just changed. Okay, so I'm going to refer to the situation that you were just talking about, Joanne, because that you brought in that energy right before the reading. So if you have not resolved this situation thus far, it is actually going to be resolved very, very quickly.
Okay.
So if you're working on that, you need the money placed back in your account and all that, it's going to be resolved pretty quickly. I'd say within the next 24 to 48 hours, everything's going to be back to normal. Also, you were going to be recognized for the fact that this was a theft and something that happened to you. If there's any question at all within this situation of, you not telling the truth or someone questioning your integrity, that's going to come to a very quick halt because you will be recognized and have the recognition you deserve.
Right. Good.
Yeah. So just know that.
I was actually pretty shocked, actually.
Oh, okay. So the last card, if the confirmation of the reading is the Wheel of Fortune. And what this means is that when things like this happen, and strangely enough, they do happen more often during a Mercury retrograde. So when these things happen, it's inconvenient and it's stressful, but there's a deeper meaning. And this card, the Wheel of Fortune, really wants you to go into that deeper meaning. And what's the deeper meaning? These things happen to us and oftentimes happen during a Mercury retrograde because the purpose of that retrograde, or retrocraze as Sally and I are now calling it, is it wants you to plug the cracks in the driveway. In other words, maybe you had things that were exposing you as far as your finances go. Maybe you weren't as careful as you should have been. Maybe something fell through the cracks. And now this is the opportunity to really evaluate your habits and your resources to plug all that up. A couple of months ago when it happened to me, I ended up putting in place a very strong identity theft program. So that was really great because I don't think it's going to happen again because it's like Fort Knox. So if that didn't happen to me, that wouldn't have been put in place. So that's the deeper meaning when we see the Wheel of Fortune. It means realize what the fortune is behind the situation. What's the good that came from this? And when you start to go into that energy, then you get less stress because you realize why it happened.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So take the precautions that you wish you took before because now you will.
Okay.
All right? So I hope that helps.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good night. So yeah, when bad things happen, they're really good things. So I'm just going to repeat what I said before about self-care is deliberately taking care of your well-being through restorative activity. So whether it's one of the 5 things, whether it's physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, just make sure that it's something that's restorative for you and keep yourself in balance. And the reason why I did this show tonight was because it was really a follow-up to the law of attraction. Because if we're not healthy and in balance, it's very hard for the universe to allow us the opportunity to attract really great stuff in our life. We're not healthy, we're going to get more of that. We're not in balance, we're going to get more of that. We're stressed all the time, we're going to get more of that. So that's the real importance of practicing self-care. You want to be in real tip-top condition so that you can get all the beautiful things that are coming to you. Okay? So I think that's everything. The real drunken housewives of Australia couldn't read the phone number.
Yes. I had to write it out. And then I made the emblem a little bit bigger
That's so funny.
For people drinking.
Okay. Don't drink during my show. Wait till after. Okay, so that's our show tonight. You can find me on Zenkuda Official on Instagram, Zenkuda on Facebook, and of course on Zenkuda on YouTube, where there's over 70 videos that I hope you'll watch. And next week, we're going to have a guest, and we have some great guests coming up. I've got Lois Martin coming up on March 12th. She's a beautiful numerologist that is unbelievably fantastic. And I have Phoenix Green coming in. We're going to talk about the vibration of the earth. I've got Gina Calfano, who's going to come on and talk about essential oils. We got a great March coming up for you guys. So have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you guys next week right here on Govs Radio at 6:30.
Your sweet